And Trish, if you can let me know when we're on.
Okay, we're up.
Okay, great. All right, thank you and welcome to all of those that are in the Zoom meeting and to all of you that are watching on YouTube. We'll be taking questions in the chat, or if you're in the Zoom, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. We'll cover those off, or raise your hand if you have any questions as we go along. And for anybody that's on YouTube, please ask your questions in the comments and we'll copy and paste those into the Zoom portion. So thank you for that. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge that we are grateful that the work of DPAC on our PACs takes place in the traditional and unceded territories of the Halkamenim speaking people of the K12 First Nation and the Kwantlen First Nation. We also recognize all our First Nations, Métis, Inuit students and their families in our school communities. We also want to acknowledge the generational harm and tragedies caused to our Indigenous communities throughout the history of residential schools, and we are committed to the ongoing process of reconciliation. So thank you for the lands that we're on, and welcome to everyone who attends. So first, before David gets started, and we're very lucky to have David and Keith give their presentation tonight for the kindergarten parents. We would like to say, well, now that we have you here, what is a PAC? What is a PAC member? So all of you, either those that are currently registered and registering younger children into kindergarten for next year, or first-time parents that are registering for September. Once you're registered, you are a PAC parent, Parent Advisory Council parent. So you don't have to join, you don't join anything, you will automatically become one. It is legislated under the School Act. So we'd encourage you, we do PACs and DPACs, which is the District Parents Advisory Council, which is what we do, is the voice of parents at your school. So we'd encourage you to participate in your PAC meetings. They need you, and to be more involved. You don't join the PAC, you are a PAC member at your school. And what important things that PACs can do, they're providing a forum for parents to engage with your administrator, or in this case, we engage with the district about school activities and programs, and you find out what's going on. Principal gives a report about what's happening in the school. These are important things for parents to know, and that typically happens at a PAC meeting. Or through newsletters and other correspondence. Looking at ways to better provide opportunities and development for students, improving learning outcomes and providing resources for parents, building your school community with spirit, school events post-COVID, and promoting parent involvement in public education. And using social media like we've done for this K registration information session to remind parents about school events, COVID protocols, daily health check, mask use from reliable and official sources, and providing community resources for parents and more. My name is Chris Schultz-Sensen. I'm the recording secretary for SD42 DPAC, and with us tonight as well, helping us out, we have Trish Koft, who's our vice chair for SD42 DPAC. And with that, again, welcome to all of you parents who are here, and I'd like to introduce Corleen Carreras, who is the chair for the school board for SD42. So Corleen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome to all the parents that are joining us tonight. This is such an exciting time as your child and your children start their journey within our school system. As Chris mentioned, my name is Corleen Carreras, and I am chair of the Board of Education. You'll see the list of the other trustees. So I am one of 7 trustees that are elected every 4 years. So the same time you elect mayor and council, you elect school trustees. And there are 5 that are elected from Maple Ridge and 2 that are elected from Pitt Meadows. And we oversee the governance of the school district, things like budget, policy, overall sort of leadership decisions, not the day-to-day operations, but the governance pieces of the school district. My own children went through the school district. They're a bit older now. My oldest is third year university at UVic, and my youngest is in grade 11 at Pitt Meadows Secondary. And they had a very positive and supportive journey through our schools. And I really hope that your children experience that same experience. Many of our students, when they graduate, have had such a positive experience, and it takes them forward for the rest of their life as they transition into that next stage. And I want to just let you know, as parents, if you're a first-time parent, Just so you know, it's okay. Every parent does this. I mean, it's been years since I dropped my children off for their first day of kindergarten, but I still remember all smiles, dropping them off, and as soon as they go in that classroom, like tears, just burst into absolute tears. So it's okay. That's what happens. It's a good thing. So just a couple of things I want to highlight for you. One, I just want to talk about our strategic plan a bit. I imagine, David, one of your slides might be the tree. Nope.
No, we weren't going to get into that, just
Okay.
right into the demo.
Okay, so just so you know, the strategic plan, which is one of the things that is had input from everybody, parents, staff, community members, is something that is a great sense of pride and ownership throughout the district, from the students and the staff in the school all the way through to district office. And it's something that you'll see when you walk into your child's school. And this is about our vision, our mission, and our values, and also goes into details such as our operations plan. And I want to read our mission to you because it's something that really resonates with me. So our mission is to support all individuals in their development as successful learners and as respectful, caring, and responsible members of society. And it's something that, as elected officials at the school board, we really keep this in mind when we're making those decisions at the board table. And I know, David, you're going to go over the real technical pieces around sort of maybe the pedagogy or how to register and what to expect those first couple of weeks going into kindergarten. But as I just want to highlight, parents, if you're looking for a little more information around sort of that governance level, there's a couple of places on our website I want to just highlight for you. One is underneath information about our district, and it's a report called the Framework for Enhanced Student Learning. And it's a report that's all school districts are mandated to submit every September. And it's a really great a document talking about the successes of our school district, and also talks about those things that need a little further reflection. But you'll see how we compare in the province, and you'll see that SD42 compares quite well. And actually, we're quite well regarded throughout the province due to the great work that's being done by the staff in this district. A couple other things, if you're interested, I know board meetings are fascinating for people. The third one, David's laughing, going, "Yeah, I've been to a few of these." The great news is they're live streamed now. They're the third Wednesday of every month, so you can just log in through our website and take a look at that. A couple of things also, our strategic facility plan. We're in the middle of reviewing that. So information, there's a great document on the website talking about all the different facilities, but also more information and opportunities to participate will be coming up in the future. And our policy manual is on there. It's a good document if you can't sleep at night, but if you have something you want to learn a little bit more about, there's some great information in there. And then the other thing that's important for parents to understand is our budget process. We have an annual budget process, and I'm sure you've probably seen lots in the news about school district finances, and it's going to be starting soon. So we have to pass our budget by the end of April each year. And there is opportunity for parents, to watch us walk through the budget at one of our meetings, usually in April, either the end of March or beginning of April, and also an opportunity for parents to give input into the budget. And it's something that we read all those comments that come in, and it really does guide us in our decision making. So anyhow, sorry, I know I've taken longer than I said I would, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of things, especially if you're new parents to our district. But thank you very much for inviting me here tonight, and congratulations and welcome to our district.
And thank you very much, Corleen. Thank you very much. And I know you have another meeting, but of course you're welcome to stay for as long as you wish. But thank you very much for sharing that with us. Yeah, and I encourage you to attend, quote unquote, attend board meetings as they were live on YouTube, and you get a good sense of what's going on in the district. So thank you, Corleen. And with that, I am going to pass this on to David Vandergooten, who is our assistant, one of our assistant superintendents, and Keith Carley, hopefully I said that right, to continue on with the presentation. So thank you very much, David, for doing this for us and parents in SD42, and Thank you very much, and it's all yours.
Thanks, Chris. We're really excited to have this opportunity to present to all of you. When Chris came to us with this idea of sharing the information about how K registration works, we jumped at the opportunity because it's sometimes a complex and daunting process for first-time parents. And so we wanted to take, the unknowns out of that equation. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you the district website. And while I'm bringing that up, I want to highlight a few comments that Chris and Corleen said. First off, take opportunities to work with your PAC. I know all of our principals fully engage deeply with their PACs, and it gives you as a parent a real opportunity to shape the direction of your school. And also what Corleen mentioned about our facilities review, we're in a very interesting period in School District 42 where we are seeing tremendous growth. We're having to look at opening new schools, and we're also looking at potential of opening new programs. So this is, as a parent, engaging in this process, I think allows you not only to get a better understanding of the entire school district and what programs we have to offer currently, but it also gives you a say in potentially what programs we'll be offering in the future. So take those opportunities if you can. So this is the district website, www.sd42.ca. I went under the Parents tab and I went down to K registration. And when I picked K registration, I got the following page. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the different phases. So we have a sibling registration phase that runs from January 5th to January 11th. We believe very strongly in this school district that we keep siblings together. So that's why we have that first phase. If there's already an older child in the elementary school, that's K to 6, then we are giving the younger siblings an opportunity to register in their home school with their older brother or sister. We do, you notice I said grade 6 because that grade 7 that's currently in the school district or in the school this year is actually moving on to high school in grade 8 for next year. So it's current K to grade 6. We have the environmental school registration, which is a different program on a different site. And then I saw a question in the chat before we started around choice registration and general registration and catchment and out of catchment registration. So I'll explain a little bit of what choice is. Choice allows you to register for our district Montessori or French immersion programs. And you'll notice that that starts January 19th. And finishes January 24th. And that's very strategic because parents, not everyone gets into the choice programs when those open at noon. It's kind of like trying to think of a more hip band than Rolling Stones. But anyway, it's like concert tickets. They go very quick. You want to definitely be online and not pause. But if you don't get into choice registration, you notice our general registration for in catchment and out of catchment opens February 2nd. So it gives parents enough time to re-register in the general session. And when you register in general, what you're presented with is your in catchment school and then an opportunity to pick a first and a second choice location. Now, doesn't mean you're going to get it because, like I said, the district is very tight, but it does give parents an opportunity to put that information into the system. And then finally, the late registration runs right through till the end of the school year. So it allows parents that are constantly moving into the community to register their child for an ongoing basis. So that if they miss the general registration. So again, I'm David Vandergooten. I'm one of the assistant superintendents. Part of my role is K and choice registration. I work very closely with the IT and the programming team, and we're lucky tonight to also have Keith Corelli. He's our project manager for our software development team, and he's the brains behind this operation. The parent portal, the registration system, this is all in-house written, and that's why we feel that it's worked so well for as many years is because it's customized and meets the requirements not only our staff, but our families. So Keith, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to get you to show the IT side.
Thanks, David. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully that came up and you can see the SD42 site where David just was.
Yes.
Okay, great. So David talked a lot about the different periods, and I'm going to focus more on the actual process. We do have some nice helpful guides and videos available. So if you go on that site and you go up to the top bar and click on the IT help desk, you'll be able to come down, and on the left here, you'll be able to find student registration. We're going to want to talk or look at the parent guardian side of things. And here, this is going to walk you through the different parts of the registration. You're going to see the parent dashboard. You're going to see some other guides that will help walk you through. I'd like to focus in on this all grades registration. The parent portal registration is now K-12, so this process is very similar or exactly the same for all the grades that are going to be registering. So one of the best ways to review it is to look at this guide, which is a PDF. And you can go through at your own time. Some people like to read and some people like to watch videos. So we have both available here. And this second link is a video, which I can play now and that will review. And then we'll have a chance for some questions afterwards.
And Keith, can I just add something before you press play on that? The reason why we're also showing a video is because this video actually has no personal information in it. We didn't want to show you a live system where it potentially has student names, because we know not only are we showing you this via Zoom, but it's also being captured and stored on YouTube. So this video, like he said, is on our district website. You could view it anytime, rewatch it. But it goes through the important first steps, and then we'll, like he said, answer the questions at the end. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, so I've just clicked on that link and it's opened up here. This is a short video. It's just over 4 minutes long, and I'm going to hit play.
In this video, we will learn how to register new students using the online registration on School District 42's parent.
So Keith, I'm not hearing any audio. Do you know if that's?
Okay, it is playing and I'm hearing the audio. So perhaps I need to share something differently. Can you
Keith,
see
Keith, in the share, when you share your screen, you have to make sure that the share sound is clicked.
All right, so let me see advanced sharing. Multiple participants, only host. I don't see that.
Maybe stop sharing and then try to share it again and see what happens.
I see it now, share sound. Okay. So we'll go back to the beginning here and try it again. Please let me know if you can hear sound this time.
In this video, we will learn how to register new students
we can.
using the online registration on School District 42's parent portal. Log into your parent account at parents.sd42.ca. If you are a parent registering a child in School District 42 for the first time, this is what you will see. If you are a parent who already has linked students, click the Registration tab on the navigation bar. To begin a new registration, click the Begin New Enrollment Request button or the New Request tab. Here you will see all registration periods for the upcoming and current school year. Select the period that you wish to register your child for. Here you can see the details and information for that registration period. There is a countdown timer at the bottom of the page indicating when this period is open to registration. The timer will be replaced with a green Begin Enrollment Request button when the registration is open. All registrations are date and time stamped once you start the registration form. There is no need to rush through the registration process, Even if you should need to close your browser and verify information, this form will remain open in your account for 12 hours from this timestamp. Please take your time to review and ensure all sections are completed accurately, and click Next to proceed. Select the appropriate grade you are registering your student for. Click Next. Select the program and school for your first choice, and if applicable, a second choice should your first not be available, and then click Next. This is the student information page. Fill in the legal and preferred items as necessary. These are all required fields, and the system will not proceed to the next page until filled in. Click Next and enter your primary contact phone number. Student address information. This will auto-populate with the address set in your Parent Portal account profile. You can update this if necessary. This address is used to determine your catchment. If registering in certain periods such as kindergarten, you are able to request your daycare be used for your catchment lookup by clicking this box. This will generate a section for you to fill out with daycare information on the next page. This is your school catchment information. Fill in your student citizenship information as required and click Next. Please fill in any First Nations information applicable to your student. Fill in your student's language information. This assists us with determining if your student would benefit from English language learner support. Please indicate if your student has previously received or will require additional learning services support. Please indicate if your student has any health concerns or life-threatening conditions. General information. This screen may vary depending on the registration type selected. Please fill in all relevant information. Parent-guardian details. All fields on this page are required and the system will not progress to the next page until filled out. Click the green Add a Contact button to add additional parent guardians. Sibling details. This will auto-populate with any other students linked to your account. These are students currently attending school in School District 42. You can click the green button to add additional students as necessary, and you can also click the orange button to remove. Please provide a non-parent guardian contact for emergency purposes. An out-of-area contact should be someone we can contact should a catastrophic event occur at the school, such as an earthquake. Please read through this legal notice. Click the I agree box and sign your name at the bottom. This is your summary screen of your registration information. Please review. If you should need to make any adjustments or corrections, you can click into the section to make changes. And when done, click the yellow Return to Summary. When you've verified that the summary is correct, you can then click the Submit button. Your request is now complete. You will receive a confirmation email with all of your details shortly from do not reply at info.sd42.ca. Please be sure to add this address to your safe senders list to ensure that all future messages do not go to your junk mail folder. Should you require any assistance, please reach out to us at portalhelp@sd42.ca. In this video, we learned how to register new students using the online registration on the School District 42 Parent Portal.
So that was a nice summary of the process for enrolling a new student. And there is also, when you've created your Parent Portal account, a place where you can go in and run through it yourself using the practice form. So if you want to get your account created early and go through the process, you can try it out.
And, I strongly encourage you that you do go onto the Parent Portal, create an account, try it out well before January, because you certainly don't want to have that stress of having a technical glitch on the day of the registration period. But like the video says, and I'll just repeat it, some people think they need to rush through the form because but the dates and timestamp happens this moment that you actually start the form. So we really want parents to take their time and add the needed information, because if not, it just adds a lot more complexity to the registration period, and our staff are asking a lot more questions than they need to ask. So I think Keith, you can probably stop sharing unless there's something else that you wanted to show on this page.
No, that's, I think covered it. Thank you.
Okay. And like Keith said, we've just launched as of November 15th, a K-12 registration system that runs 365 days in a year. It allows parents to not only register for this school year, because remember, right now we're talking about K registration for next school year. But if a family with a K age child is coming in right now, they need to register today. And so the new system that launched, like I said, the middle of this month, allows families to register K-12, 365 days a year, allows families to request transfers, and it also allows families to withdraw from the system. So if they're moving, it allows them to, with a few mouse clicks, be able to tell their home school that they won't be attending anymore. And that's really helpful, especially in the East Zone in our district, because we're very full. Many of our schools are at capacity, and we know that some schools have a long wait to get in if they're trying to do a transfer. So I think we can open it up to questions, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, Keith.
No, I think that summed it up very well.
So Chris, do you want, I see chat, we have 6.
Yeah, if you do you want me to put the questions out, or are you happy just to go through the chat and answer them as you go?
I've got the chat up now, so I think
Okay,
we're okay. So Stephanie, hopefully I answered your question about your first and second choice and your in and out of catchment. And the video also went over that. If you still have further question on that, I'm more than happy to go into further details. Is daycare catchment considered as the same priority for catchment as someone who lives in the catchment area? So like Corleen said, our registration process and our procedures and policy are on the district website. But right now we have in catchment. I should actually bring that up. So I'm going to do that so that we have it, because it's an important piece for everyone to understand. So does everyone see my screen?
I can see it, David.
Okay, so the following criteria will be used. So you see siblings, in catchment, proof of residence, in catchment daycare, out of catchment, out of district. So that's the process. So you can see siblings trump all, even if the child that's the older sibling is in a school and they're out of catchment. We still don't want to break up younger siblings and older siblings. And then people that actually live in the catchment, and then you have your daycare as the third, and then finally out of catchment and out of district. So hopefully that helps answer that question. And that, just so you know, it's right down the page under acceptance criteria. So we're hoping that through the website, all of your questions will be answered, because I know probably through tonight's presentation, we're sharing a lot with you. And registering for choice French immersion, what is the hierarchy of acceptance? For any choice program, date and timestamp rule all. So, and sometimes I hate to say it, we're down to the millisecond of someone that's gets in and someone that does not. So it's really how fast can you get on the system at noon.
In each of those categories that David just showed, it's ranked according to timestamp. So if you're in the catchment area, by timestamp, and then daycare catchment timestamp.
Right, thanks, Keith. Hi, if a child gets into an elementary school due to daycare but stops that after school program in a grade 1, 2, will they be moved? No, we never move students out of a school that they're in. Once they're in, they're in. You know, they've made friends, they've made connections. We never remove students, at least not while I've been in the district. If I register for an environmental school, will I find out before choice program? Yes, you'll notice on the website that environmental open and close before choice starts. And that's the key that we've done is we have these sections so that you never have to make that hard choice. Do I have to put all my eggs in the environmental school basket? No, if you're not successful there, then you still have the choice opportunity. Also, does daycare catchment get selected before out of? Okay, I think we answered that. Noon start for all registration dates. Keith, I believe it is.
That's correct, yes. And that's checked on the server time.
Now, Chris, I don't see the YouTube. So if there's any questions on YouTube, I would ask for your help for those.
Go ahead, Trish.
Or Trish, yes.
Yeah, there aren't any questions on the YouTube channel right now.
Okay.
And David, if you don't mind just touching on, because I think it is still the case that you have to be in the province.
You have to be in, is it North America, Keith, or Canada?
To access the parent portal, you'll need to be within Canada, but to register and for funding in a BC school, you need to be a resident of BC. So,
Right. But are you talking that a family's planning to move, say they're living in Alberta, Chris, and they're moving to Maple Ridge and they want to register their child?
No, what's happened before is that people are away. So, I mean, I don't know if that's happening so much now, but people were on vacation in Mexico or something like that and trying to get onto the Noon parent portal and then could not do it. So the option was to have someone that you trust log in for you, because you can, as far as I know, unless that's changed, you cannot log into parent portal to register at Noon from out of the country.
it's only accessible within Canada.
For security reasons, we limit the access. And that's been successful. Families know about this beforehand and able to have an aunt or an uncle or a friend register for them. And the good news is, sorry?
A VPN is also an option if you're a more technical user.
Okay. The other good thing about this is you notice not through the entire process did you at any point in the first stage of registration have to provide any documents, like you didn't have to show birth certificates or proof of residence. That comes at a later stage after the school has received your registration process. So if you did have a proctor working to get your son or daughter registered, you don't have to worry about leaving personal information documents with them at that time. Just to confirm, French-speaking parents do not get any priority for registering. No, it is date stamped and time stamped. Now, we do have, don't forget, there's also the Montessori program on top of French immersion. Can more than one person try to get the parent portal system to register for the same child? Keith, I think that's a question for you.
So the person that registers the student is going to be the one that gets linked, and it'll be interacting with the student for the as they progress through their education. So you want to use the account that you want to use while you're signing field trips. You're going to be getting announcements there. The parent portal does a lot of stuff. At the end of the registration, once that student's been registered, it will be linked to your parent account, and that'll be the one that registers it.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, how some people buy concert tickets where they have 30 accounts. It just won't work that way because you can only have one account linked to one child. I have heard that many children don't have a placement as schools were too full within their catchment. Is that expected to continue next year? Well, like we said earlier, if you're, I'll use the East Zone as a perfect example. If you're in the East Zone, you certainly want to be in the registration system at Noon to ensure that you have the best possible chance of getting into your catchment school. I can tell you one of the hardest schools to get into is Tuscanela at the new school. It fills up almost instantly. And so, you know, we've had to make some tough phone calls to families that, you know, they can't get into Tuscanela, but we've been able to find a spot for them down the street at Albion, and sometimes as far as Alexander Robinson. We have twins. We want to make sure that our kids are in the same school. Should we have one account for the two kids or two accounts?
The system recognizes when a child is registered from the same parent account. And if it is placed, like David said, we always keep siblings together. So the earlier timestamp would be considered for both entries. So don't rush through it. Take your time and make sure that you complete it properly.
Are we increasing portables for more K classes next year? We did include, add 2 more portables to Yanadin, which is another site that's quite full. And that's allowing us to take a lot more primary students. Where Corleen was talking about a facilities review, we're actually doing also a tour. One of my fellow assistant superintendents is working with our facilities manager to review potential sites for new portables. And it's always a hard choice sometimes because you also don't want to limit the playground space for some schools because it's already so tight. So I'll use Alexander Robinson. No, I'll use Albion as an example. Quite a small playground already for a large student body. So, you know, we have to be very strategic where we place the portables, and also the portables cost a lot of money. So we've got to make sure that if we're placing those at a particular school site, we have the population to warrant it. The portal opens at noon. Does that mean you start the application at noon, or can you submit right away at noon? The countdown timer opens the process at noon. So you can't pre-fill out the application.
The first step of, so once you begin the application, that's when you receive your timestamp, and it'll be right there on your screen. And that's your place in line is secure at that time. So it's the very first click.
And like we understand, life gets in the way. We have that 12-hour window. So if all of a sudden, you know, you're starting the process and the dog knocks over the potted plant and you need to pause, you will not lose not only your place in line, but you will not lose any of the data that you started with. The system automatically saves. Where do we confirm a catchment based on where we live? Oh, good question.
I just pasted the link for it.
Oh, good. Yeah, so we have 2 things. We have the school locator, which Keith just pasted it in. It's off our district website. You can type in not only your current address, or you can type in if you're looking at purchasing a new home somewhere in our Pitt Meadows or Maple Ridge School District, and it will tell you what your, not only your regular catchment is, it will tell you what your French immersion catchment is, and it will also tell you what the high school catchment is. So very helpful. And then the second part is that same tool is built into the parent portal. So at the time of registration, when you enter in the data, it will actually do that lookup too. So it wants the address as entered or expected by Canada Post. And some people sometimes struggle with exactly, you know, you give me an example, Keith. It's not ST period for street. It's
yeah, so Berger has corrected that, so it works a lot better these days.
Oh, it does.
But
okay.
sometimes if you get a new division or something, there's not. But remember, your timestamp's already there, so it's not a worry. We've changed it since from the previous system. You've already been timestamped before you encounter that that we're doing that address lookup, and you can contact technical support at that time. We do give you some good feedback on the site while you're there. If it does happen, we can tell you how to correct it. And if not, just give us a call and we'll walk you through it.
Yeah, we have a number posted there, so parents can call. And like I was saying earlier, it would be good if you're new to this process to go actually just to the district website, school locator that Keith has posted in, and just type in your address and see what your catchment school is, because some people are actually quite surprised. They think, well, you know, that school's just down the road. Why is my catchment over here? And you know, the boundaries have to be drawn somewhere, and no matter where you draw the boundaries, people are not happy with them. But you know, best to check what is your catchment school, not just what you assume your catchment school is. Can anyone confirm if MRE stops French immersion at grade 4? No, MRE is, we keep increasing French immersion grades as each year progresses. So our goal as a district is that French immersion will go all the way to grade 7. So it started a few years ago, and each year we add a grade. We do not kick kids out of French immersion there. Does the first choice and second choice matter when doing a choice school registration, or does it only apply for open reg?
There's only a single choice allowed during choice.
Yeah, so you have to pick. You can't say, well, I want Montessori or I want French immersion. You have to decide, and you can only pick one at that time. Will the catchments in Pitt Meadows be reviewed? They haven't even updated in many years, and some of them do not make sense. There have been hundreds of new homes added. So we're always looking at catchment reviews. We haven't done one, you're right, in Pitt Meadows for some time, because frankly, we haven't seen growth in Pitt Meadows until recently. We have redrawn the catchment boundaries most recently when we opened Tuscanella, because we had to. We had a new school and we had to redraw boundaries. It's something that we're exploring also through the facilities review, but it's also not for the faint of heart. We want to ensure that we do that process not only correctly, but also with full engagement with the community. If you do environmental school for a year and it is harder to get into your catchment school for grade 1, it really depends on what is your catchment school. So I would say if you went to environmental school for kindergarten, and then you decide you didn't like it and your catchment school is Tuscanella, that would be a hard one to probably get into. Other locations, you would most likely be able to transfer throughout that school year. So I've heard that because of capacity issues, many have been bumped from their catchment of Davy Jones to Edith McDermott. Well, we never moved students. So if they're actually registered to that school, they're in that school. But you're right, if they wanted their catchment school in K-Reg, that doesn't mean they're always going to get it. Timestamp rules all, and then the order that I put into the screen earlier, which is on the district website. So don't assume you're going to get into your catchment. Don't leave registration late. Do it as soon as you can. That's my words of advice. And think, if you don't get your catchment school, what is another choice that you would like to have? Because you know, you might end up getting that choice, especially in the East Zone. I keep saying the East Zone, but it is a very, very busy zone. And if you live out in the East, you'll know that, because every corner you turn, that seems to be a new townhouse development being built. Fairview is that one that's typically full. Fairview, I don't want to use generalities, but Fairview is certainly not as full normally as some of the East Zone schools that we have, like a Yenadin or a Tuscanella. If you have a child with a designation, how do we determine what school would be best to support that child? What a catchment. So one of the key things that you want, either you're working with the CDC already, the Child Development Center, but you also want to reach out to your catchment school early to talk about potential learning needs for your child. And that that school will then also engage our learning services team. And through those meetings that happen before registration, that gives the school district and the parents an opportunity to really find the best setting for that child. And I work closely with learning services all the time in placement. So that's what I would suggest you engage with your catchment school principal on that earlier rather than later. Any
David,
other?
we just had one question before that. Is grade 7 moving to high school at all schools?
Oh, okay. Maybe I was misunderstood. No, we're not moving grade 7 to high schools. What I mean by my earlier statement that I said K through 6, that's what we consider older siblings in schools, because the current grade 7 child next school year is actually going to be in grade 8. And so we have no intention of moving grade 7s to high schools. It's just that, you know, by the time the younger K sibling moves into, and I'll use Alexander Robinson as an example, and they have an older sibling that's currently in Alexander Robinson in grade 7, that child has already moved to grade 8 in high school. So they're not actually considered a sibling. And that's caught a few parents off guard. I've had to have some tough conversations because they thought that they could register their child in the sibling phase. And because the parent portal knows how old the older sibling is, it wouldn't allow them to do that. What about private schools? Is their registration process the same as public? I can't comment about private schools. I can tell you that they don't use our parent portal registration system. I guess it would really depend on each school. So you'd have to reach out to the private schools to find out not only how they register, but also what their registration dates are, because you know, they could be very different than what I've shown you on our website. A little off topic, is there a possibility of parent volunteers again for K next year? You know what? I think when we all went into this pandemic, we were hoping that it wasn't going to last 2 years. I think all of us at the end of June were hoping that we would be starting this school year without the COVID restrictions that we seem to continue to have. So I really can't comment on what next year is going to look like. I really hope that we speak less about COVID next year and we're back to whatever normal post-pandemic looks like, because we know how important parents are in our school and we really want to get them back into our school and our school system. And I know, you know, I remember what Corleen said about when her children first went into K, and we were the same way. My son's 20 and my daughter's 18. You know, it's like your heart just gets ripped out of your body when they go and say goodbye. And it's been very hard for K families throughout COVID because they can't go into the school building. So we really want to be able to do that, but we want to be able to do it when it's safe and you know, when we're talking less about health and safety protocols and more about children and education.
And David, if I might add to that as well, not just for K parents being in the K classes, but there are parents helping in the library and parents helping with other classes. And so there's lots of volunteer opportunities that could be once we sort of get back to whatever that normal is going to look like. So, and I would encourage all parents that when we have that opportunity again to consider how you can help out in your school. Not only do your kids see you helping out in the school, it's a great example for them, for those parents that are able to, and not all parents can because they're working during the day or whatever, but volunteering in the school in a number of different capacities is very important. And there's lots of research that shows that parents that are involved in their packs or volunteering in their school really demonstrate not only to their kids but to kids around them the value of leadership and volunteerism and all those things. So we all look forward to that.
And, you know, someone asked me a while ago, what's the best thing you can do to ensure your child's success in school? And I said, be involved. And being involved doesn't always mean you have to actually physically be in the school, because right now that's not possible. But some parents think they can engage teachers only during reporting cycles or only during the student inclusive conference. No, you can reach out to your teacher at any time, ask how your son or daughter's doing. Is there any thing you can do to help at home? It's really being involved not only through the primary and the intermediate years, but even through high school, even though your kids will say they don't want it. It's important to continue to keep engaged throughout the entire process, because you're their best advocate. And I know our professional staff are willing to help in any way to ensure their success. And we really see parents as partners.
And I don't see too many other questions. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question or type it into the chat. If you don't mind just touching again on the countdown clock. And I know that you can, so at 11:50 or 11:55, you can pull up the parent portal registration page and it'll show you the countdown clock. And I can't remember because it's been a while since I've done the registration myself, if you have to refresh the page right when the countdown clock stops, or if it'll automatically take you to the registration. Maybe Keith can answer that, I don't know.
I recommend refreshing a couple seconds before to make sure your clock is accurate. It hasn't lost any seconds, but the button, as soon as the clock hits 0, it will change into a green, more of a badge. And there's a link in there, a button that you can click on and start the process. So as soon as it counts down, it will automatically change.
Any other questions? Now, there's a question here about specific information about choice schools. So maybe I'll go back to the district website and I'll find the program area. There's a section here around programs of choice. I just have to remember where it was. Maybe it's under the program tab, David. I was looking under the parent tab. So I'll share my screen and I'll show you where that information is. So again, www.sd42.ca. And then if you go under the program tab, not only do you see some of the programs that we have for high schools, you have some of our early learning programs, but then you'll also see the Montessori. If you're not sure what Montessori is and you wanted to get further information about it, there's our Montessori program details. There's a video about it. The teachers talks about multi-age grouping, the curriculum. So, really a one-stop shop for what is Montessori. A lot of these, again, are other programs that are not K, and then there's the French immersion program. Why French immersion? Early and late French immersion. So Golden Ears has a late French immersion program. So if, for example, your son or daughter wanted to try French immersion, in their late intermediate grades, that's an opportunity. So again, we pride ourselves in the district website as being a one-stop shop for information. Hopefully that answered. Oh, and Keith put the link in there too.
Actually, that was Chris. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. And really, the purpose of tonight, I think when Chris and I were originally talking about this, is no parent will come away from this session without their questions answered. So please don't be shy. There is no silly question. The one piece, though, that I should add that we didn't add before, and it's on the district website, is if you do not have the technology, or you're concerned that maybe your bandwidth at home isn't sufficient, we have all of our schools set up with extra laptops, and even though during COVID you can still schedule a session to actually be able to register on a district laptop in one of our schools. Obviously, we'd have to do the health and safety check before you come into the building. And we've also partnered with the public library. So there's technology stations around the city, but also at all of our schools, so that you know, technology is not a barrier for people registering their child. Will we be getting more schools that no, right now we only have one Montessori program, and I don't think we'll be expanding to other locations. Where's the information about the environmental school? Is it not there?
I'm looking for it right now as well. I know there's a link to the environmental website itself, but there's should be something on the SD42 site as well.
Well, Keith, maybe in the short term, you can post the environmental school website in the chat, and then
Sure.
if it's not here, we're going to actually have to fix that tomorrow. The other thing that I want, the environmental school is actually quite a difficult school to get into, just so that people know. Best to reach out to Randy, who is the principal, to ask as many details as you can before the K environmental school registration, because it's also a very different program. It is a program without a school. So when we say environmental school, we mean it. So basically these kids are out 10 months out of the year.
Environmental school.
Sorry?
In our school district, which is basically outside all day.
Yeah.
There's a different day.
And so they're outside all day. They have to dress for the environment, and it's you know, quite a unique program. I would say quite a unique program in Canada. And there's actually an intake process that involves an interview, so that the teachers and the principal talk to the families to ensure that it's the best fit for them. So it's just something that you, Keith posted the link. So, oh, Jenny
did. So
thanks,
yeah.
Jenny. So it's something that you certainly want to explore well before the registration period opens for the environmental school. Gradual entry information, please. So gradual entry, we haven't finalized what next September looks like for gradual entry. And for those people that aren't sure what gradual entry is, it is a schedule of when the K students will be attending school. They don't attend full-time right away. And a lot has really changed. The COVID protocols have changed what gradual entry looks like. And so Mal Scarcella, who is our district early learning helping teacher, and I work closely together on the gradual entry process. We haven't finalized anything yet because we're really hopeful that next fall will not involve COVID restrictions. So then we can do a much more deeply meaningful gradual entry process that without the limitations that we've had to deal with for the past 2 Septembers. Chris, any questions on the YouTube site?
And David, just a quick question. When can parents start to create a parent portal account? Or maybe I missed it.
They can do that today, right, Keith?
Yep, the sooner the better.
Yeah. So you could get in there, you could create the account, you can feel confident that you know your way around. So
and it's
yes,
always good to run your address through the school locator first and make sure you enter it in, because it will pre-fill during the registration process with the email address that you, or sorry, the physical address that you enter in when you create the account. So you can save a little bit of time on registration day.
So a question, if my child doesn't get into the choice program in kindergarten, let's use French immersion as an example, what is the process to try to get into the choice program after? Do I try to register in grade 1? So that would involve a school transfer request to French immersion grade 1. might not happen right away in grade 1, but that would be a conversation with your catchment principal, and they in turn would be engaging with the principal of that French immersion school that you want to get into. Sometimes spots open up, but not all the time. Next question, if you're wanting to enroll your child in a school outside of the catchment, would it be in choice registration or general? So no, choice registration is only for Montessori and French immersion. So those are our choice programs. You would register in general registration for either in catchment or out of catchment. Did you mention how early parents will know if their child gets into the choice school before registering for open? I'll bring it up again.
Every period closes before the next one opens.
Yeah, I was going to show that, but basically we have this a few days where you'll have an email that says either you're successful or you're not successful. So you'll have plenty of time to register for the next phase. We do not overlap any phases. So all of a sudden you're not sure what's going on. Soon after general closes, will you know if the child has a spot in the catchment school? Really, that involves myself and a team at the district office. We work hard on that as soon as it closes, and we work throughout the process as registrations are coming in. I can't give you a specific date. We try to do it as soon as possible, but it also is batch processed and sent to the schools once we finalize. Keith, I don't know if you wanted to add anything more to that.
You actually got it right. Not actually got it right. You summed it up very well. So
yeah. There's lots of moving parts, and you know, when you're dealing with over 1,000 students, I think, Keith, what was the this past fall?
I can actually look it up, but all the assignments are done and reviewed and looked at very carefully to make sure they meet all the criteria. And then a finalization button is so everyone finds out at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm. I want to say it was 1,200, but I think it was higher.
Yeah,
in terms of the registrations.
It's pretty easy to tell with the new period dashboard. Total or a sibling. Total. Okay, I'll add them all up.
And you know, we're growing, like I've said before, and that's why I'm trying to ensure that everyone that comes off this call realizes, do not wait. Don't expect to get into your catchment school if you've left the registration to even the second day of registration. You know, like I said, we've been down to the millisecond between someone who has gotten into Tuscanela and someone who has not.
It's just under 1,300.
Okay, 1,300 students. So that gives you a sense of scope of the work. So any other questions?
And I'll just add too that once you've got your confirmation registration, that your child is enrolled at a particular school, the first thing to do is get a hold of the pack at your school and you know, be prepared. You'll have some opportunity to maybe go to some of the pack meetings before your child ends up at the school, and you'll have an idea of what to look forward and how you can engage with the school and the parents at the school. You don't have to wait till September.
Yes. And you know, phone the schools, find out a little bit about them. Like I said earlier, you know, have your first and second choice sort of thought out before you actually sit down to do the registration. If you're not sure about a school, phone the school, talk to the principal. Pre-COVID, parents were able to ask for a school tour and do a tour. We're hoping to get back to those times again, but we really want you as a parent to feel comfortable and confident that your son and daughter is in the right learning environment. Well, if there are no other questions, I don't know, Chris, if you want to wrap up.
And I've just put into the chat there the link for the school district website on all the elementary schools. And from there, you can click on each school's website and you can go through their library tab, and you can go through the parent advisory council tab, and you can look through, and many of them have minutes posted of what's going on. You'll see newsletters that the principal has put out from the school. You can get all sorts of information just from the school website. So if you're curious about what an elementary school looks like, and I'll tell you, we all have great elementary schools in SD42, but if you're looking to see what kind of things are going on at the school, because some schools do things a little bit differently, then you can get an idea and all the contact information for reaching out to the principal at the school, and getting any forms that you need to the office, or it's all on each school website pretty much. So I'd encourage all of you to look at your catchment school, pull up the school website, and just go through it and see what that looks like for you.
And once you've registered for your school, the schools do a great job at the end of the school year doing Welcome to K. It's sort of this, they come, your child and you get an opportunity. We'll see what restrictions we have at the end of, in June, but normally you could come into the K classroom, you could visit it. Last June it was, you could come, we had stations set up outside. But then schools also did a video tour of the K class and showed all the different learning stations. So you as a parent and your child could actually see what the K classroom looked like before September. The Welcome to K events also allow you to get to meet the staff, talk to the K teachers. There's little goodie bags that come with all sorts of educational items in there, including at least one, maybe two books. So make sure when you do get that information, because we will send it to you via the parent portal, and your home school will send it, that you take advantage of that, because that really gives you and your child an opportunity to get a good sense of what the upcoming K year is going to look like.
Yeah, thanks, David. Is there any other questions? Please remember, if you have a question, chances are someone else is wondering the same question. So you'll be doing yourself and someone else that you may not know a favor. So now's the opportunity to do that for sure. And yeah, and please let us know if there's anything that we've missed that you were hoping for. Please ask the question away. This is our first time. We normally do the grade 8 registration in January, and that's for those who have kids going into grade 8 next year. We do a similar registration information session, and this is our first time doing a K1. So yeah, if you have any,
we should do this every year, Chris.
I think we should. I think it's great. Thank you so much for putting that together, and thanks for Keith for providing all the questions and answers. I mean, I know this is outside of your guys' normal work hour, so whatever that is these days, whatever that is, yeah. But yeah, no, thank you so much for putting all that together, and I'm sure we'll have questions as we go. But one of the most important takeaways, for sure, for me anyway, is to get on a parent portal now. You can register now, so make sure that you're in there, so you don't have to wait until the noon hour time. You can do that early. And part of our problem is reaching out to parents, especially those who are not currently in SD42 and who are brand new parents, who we have a number of to District 42, is that we can't get you on portal, and we can't send you a message saying, oh, there's a K registration session coming up, because you're not in portal yet. So register for portal, and as it starts getting close to that noon hour time on January 5th, or whatever day that is, then please pull it up a few minutes before and refresh your screen. And as soon as it hits that, if you don't see the green button pop up right at noon when it changes over, then refresh your screen and start typing. But remember, and I think it's when you start typing the count starts, or when you first put the name in.
That's as soon as you click on the green button, you're going to be presented with your timestamp screen, which is going to welcome you and give you some start off instructions, but your timestamp will be right there visible as soon as you start. And you have 12 hours to complete it after that time.
Yeah, and Chris, the January 5th date is for siblings, so only if they have an older brother or sister in the school. And then the next date is the environmental, which is January 12th, and then choice January 19th, and then general February 2nd. So you can see the staggered spots there. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you taking some time out tonight, and hopefully we answered all your questions.
Yeah, and thanks again to David and Keith for answering. Thank you for all of your questions, asking all the questions tonight, because that helps us to understand the information that we can better put out. And yeah, and we look forward to seeing everybody in September. And we certainly hope, we all hope, of course, that it will be much more like the Septembers that we're used to. So thank you very much, everyone. And thanks again to David and Keith.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.